How should I approach the Loving Parent Guidebook? If you're preparing to start working the Loving Parent Guidebook, have you thought of a plan yet to help you with this rigorous yet rewarding journey? Hi, I'm Ken Francis, California licensed marriage and family therapist, and welcome back to my video series on the Loving Parent Guidebook. 3 important things to consider when preparing to do the Loving Parent Guidebook. First of all, make sure you have a plan. Might sound odd to work a workbook with a plan, but yes, it's important to have a plan. Also, make sure you have the right writing tools. Possibly have an extra notebook, a lot of pens, colored pens, crayons, different types of writing instruments, and lastly, make sure that you have somebody to anchor you or to guide you on this journey. Although spontaneity can be good, remember the 3 most important rules of recovery are structure, structure, structure. If you're planning a trip, an event, a journey, it's very important to plan the details. Now, as much structure as you want to put in, you do want to leave a little room for some spontaneity, but for the most part, you need to have a solid plan of attack. You also need to have a backup plan in case the first plan doesn't go the way it's supposed to. I recently set off on a journey kayaking through the jungles and swamps of Florida. And even though I had maps and GPS and all the food and water I would need, it would have been really helpful if we had a guide. I was kayaking with friends in the Florida Everglades where mile after mile of jungle all looked the same. And even with our maps, we weren't sure if we were making the right turn and at one point got fairly off course. I wouldn't use the word lost because we knew where we were. We were just going to take a longer way to get where we were going. And this was really discouraging for some. I'm really glad that I completed the work of the Loving Parent Guidebook before my Florida adventure. When we were out there in the swamps and everybody was arguing over the right path to take, I could identify my inner teen becoming triggered, and instead of reacting, I responded with my loving parent and ended up having a wonderful time. Granted, it took a while longer to get to our destination, but it only made the journey more interesting and the destination that much more special. For a guide, it's best if you work with a therapist, and I would suggest a therapist that has a background in adult children of alcoholics and also has a background in IFS, Internal Family Systems, which is pretty much the meat of the Loving Parent Guidebook. And I think it is possible to work the Loving Parent Guidebook while working the 12 steps. I have patients that are working the steps and they're doing this work with their sponsor. They're doing this work outside of the therapeutic realm. And then with me and in groups, we're doing the inner child and inner family systems work. So I do believe it's possible to work the guidebook and the steps at the same time, but you do want to keep them separate. And if you've already worked the steps, keep in mind that as you're working the guidebook, you might have a lot of past resentments come up that you will be needing to add to your 4th step as you go along. And if you're not working with a therapist, at least have a sponsor or a bunch of fellow travelers to help you in this journey, to not only guide you, but to also anchor you and to give you a sense of grounding. Because there might be times where you do feel lost and you're going to be needing to get back to center, and to have someone else that can help you do that, especially if you become triggered or flooded. And just as I had food and water and tent and sleeping bag and insect repellent, you're going to want to be prepared with an extra notebook and a lot of writing utensils and even yellow stickies, because it's very important for you to take a lot of notes, and when you do the exercises to have a lot of paper available, especially when you're doing the right hand, left hand, dominant, non-dominant hand exercises. Very important. So remember the simple list of what you need to pack for this journey. You need to have the structure of a schedule of when you do the work and how you take the break. You need to have a guide to help you through it and to anchor you, and you need to have the right tools to help you with the documentation and the notes that you need to take for yourself. If you've liked these videos, please give them a thumbs up. It helps the channel, and it also helps to distribute the videos to a wider audience. And please stay tuned for the next video, which is where to start in the Loving Parent Guidebook. I'm Ken Francis, and as always, thank you for watching.